Oh, I see it. Okay.
No problem. Hello! Welcome back, everybody. I am Will, your host, and next to me here we have Jake and Scott, and we have some awesome updates for you guys. I know it's been a while since we have been on the air, and we just
It's
tried to get on the air a minute ago, and it did not go as
it's
planned.
looking
So
good on
sorry
my
if
end.
you
I've
were
got it
trying to
running
tune
on the
in.
computer in front of me.
This should
Uh,
be the good link, and you
Yep.
should be able to
It's
hear
looking
us.
good on my end
Hopefully, you
too.
should be able to see us.
Audio is good too.
We should be
So
functioning okay. Um, Hopefully, we're not glitching all over the screen or have bad audio. But thank you for tuning in. Sorry, say that again. Awesome. Cool. Sweet.
Andy.
Might be a little crackly because we got some weird finagling going on back here between Skype and different microphones and whatnot. So bear with us. Hopefully, it's tolerable and not too terrible. Hello there,
We
Andy.
call
I
it
see you.
pow. Well, the name for it is
Just poked his
powwow,
head
but
in there. Awesome.
technically an event,
So,
you
why do
know.
we have everybody here
So
today?
there really
Well,
is no
Jake
right
and
way to say
Scott
it
were
or
just
wrong way to
recently
say it.
at a really awesome festival. I think that's what I want to call it. Was it a festival or an event or a powwow?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Right. Okay, good. Good, because I don't want to offend anybody by like festival, like making it sound less than it actually is or anything like that. So this might be new to
Hmm.
some people. We haven't really done
Yeah.
anything like this on our channel before, which is great. So I mean, there's always something new to try here. You know, it's not a review. This is kind of, I guess, educational and more informative because Scott was there getting pictures, and Jake,
Um,
you were there doing
North
medical
American Indian
assistance, which was
Association. For
fantastic.
sure.
I'm very
The name is
helpful.
yeah.
And so, but let's talk about the history of this place and what's really
Yeah.
going on
Yeah.
here.
That's the
Its
abbreviation
name is
for it.
the
NAI.
National American Indian Association. I think that's the whole name. Or am I missing something?
Where's
Right.
but
Right.
but this area actually has a really big. Actually, where I live, my neighborhood was actually a village of
Okay.
Potawatomi Indians, actually.
Wow.
And right outside my neighborhood, there's actually a green plaque that talks about the history. And Chief Tunquish, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
He was killed here, and his son was killed here.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
my backyard kind of backs up to like these woods that have a fence around it, and that's actually where he's buried, buried somewhere in that area. So
Interesting. Okay.
yeah,
Huh.
so Westland actually has a really big, believe it or not, you wouldn't know if you come and visit. It's not
Right.
like a reservation or anything,
Okay.
but at one point this was before European settlement. This was a village,
Hmm.
like with the teepees and all that stuff.
Right.
So
Right. Okay.
whatever they
you see,
used, whatever that tribe
yeah,
used for
uh,
shelter. So
well, like Michigan is very well known for a lot of its Native American settlements. Will
Yeah.
you and I in
Mm-hmm.
Kalamazoo, one
Hence,
of
it.
American. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, everything about the state, wherever you go
Yeah.
in the state, you're going to find some sort of a Native American like influence,
Heck,
or
even
there's going
Mackinac,
to be a
you know,
Native
I mean,
American name.
it's everywhere. It's literally everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Portage, which is one of the other cities I grew up in, the name again comes from portaging your canoe across, the
Mhm.
wetlands, because that's literally all Portage is. It's a giant wetland that you live in. So that's also where Pfizer is and stuff like that. So definitely a
Yeah.
well-known name now, but it wasn't about a
But
decade ago.
powwow. So this was actually the 19th year of the powwow
Right.
being held
Okay.
in this area. So we have in Westland, we kind of have like this set of parks. It's owned by Wayne County Parks, but it's called Hines Park.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
um, and there is a mill. It's called Nankin Mills,
Hmm.
uh, which was actually started in 1863. That's when it kind of became a mill. And
Right.
Henry Ford actually bought a portion of it,
Wow.
um, and he turned it into some sort of like a Ford thing or whatever.
Okay.
So
Huh.
Ford's owned it at one point. Now it's actually nature, like a nature preserve kind of a thing. Like you go in and there's
Right.
cages with animals and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then there's also upstairs with Ojibwa Museum.
Okay. Huh.
It kind of has like the replica of what the village would have looked like. And then there's a Ford Museum in there too, a very small little dedication to Henry Ford.
Huh.
So,
Cool.
but the powwow used to be held there when it first started, and then it kind of grew into this medium-sized event, and now it's across the street at this. Basically, there's like a baseball diamond and then an
Okay.
empty field playscape. So
Right.
they call it Lincoln Mills Park. Is what they call
Huh.
it. So
Okay. Cool.
yeah,
Well, that's very cool. Well, at least they have a nice, good spot to do it, and it's not like it's super hard to get to or anything either, which is great. So it sounds like it's like
and
right
the
in the
thing
middle
I
of the
like
city.
about it, yeah, and the thing I like about it is like admission is free, so you don't have to pay
Okay.
because some powwows you have to pay.
Huh.
But it is a competition powwow, so it's a lot different than what you know.
Right. Right. And in the pictures, you'll see some of the people wearing
Yeah,
numbers and stuff. So.
yeah, yeah. There are powwows that are held that are not in a competition kind of setting,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Right. Okay.
Um, this powwow first started, I don't believe it was a competition. It was worth it to come show up. That makes sense.
Right. I think that's
From an actor's perspective, what I noticed this, and from what I've been told or have observed of other powwows, it wasn't so much an internal group. It was more for the public.
Okay.
I think more for
Yeah.
exposure and education on these rituals, this culture. So
Huh.
again,
Well,
in a public park,
taken for
Because-
example,
it was people would ride their bike, they'd park,
yeah,
they'd walk for a little bit, and then they'd leave, and more people would come. At least 400 or 500 people throughout the day.
Wow.
At least went through. It was
So you had a real good flow of people. It sounds like consistently. I mean,
yeah,
which
the
is
whole
fantastic.
time.
I mean, that's great.
Yeah. It was, as far as like the people goes, it was a really good turnout. The dancers, there could have been more,
Could have been
but
more.
you know what? The dancers that showed up are, were danced really well, and
Okay. I was gonna
No.
say from the pictures I've seen.
Oh.
I mean, it just the outfits alone. I can't even
and
imagine.
that's actually bringing up what my brother said.
Right.
I have been going to powwow since I was 3 years old.
Okay.
So, because I know tribes were the ones that started the whole powwow thing, like in a warrior kind of
Really?
mindset. So, like, if they went out and they fought a war and won, they would get all dressed up and go celebrate. Kind of, it was like a
Okay.
celebration. Or
Sure.
if they went out and hunted and caught a buffalo, or
Huh.
were able to provide for their families, they would celebrate.
Why not?
But there's also another story out there that when Europeans settled here and they were kicked off and sent to reservations, because we all know a lot of them live on reservations
Right.
and stuff,
Right.
that they were kind of forced to dance for
Ooh.
the public,
Right.
kind of like a show off kind of a thing,
Oh,
like
okay.
a mock, kind of like making fun, like look at these savages, kind of.
Right.
And I hate to
Right.
use that word, but back then that's the kind of language they used.
Sure.
So, the story behind a powwow is not concrete,
Okay.
but it is definitely, like my brother said, designed for the public.
Okay.
The public is welcome. There's a dance in between called intertribal where anybody can go out and dance. You don't have to be, in regalia or native.
opening event. Just what you see, what you learn, the people you get to talk to.
Oh, I'm sure
Yeah,
it's just
and
full of history
looking-
and just all kinds of cool stories and everything. Oh.
It was the best day for it. The weather was great. There was so many different people around, the cultures, the colors.
Right.
I have never been to an event like that. I know Andy has
Right.
before and said I'm going to enjoy it, and I did. It was absolutely wonderful to
Mhm.
experience.
Only event that I can describe that's more colorful than a powwow would be a few years back. I went to Ann Arbor University of Michigan's Hindu students were putting on a Holi festival with the colored powder.
Right.
Mm.
So
Yes.
I went with a friend, and that
Oh
was
man,
that was really cool.
that would
But
have been so cool. I
again,
know exactly what you're
powwows
talking about too.
powwows are designed powwows are designed to be a spectacle.
Right.
You know,
Right.
And it definitely was.
It definitely looks like it. Oh my gosh. Now we have a few shots of you guys, or I should say Scott. Or we have a couple pictures. Well, I've already seen. I've flashed a few pictures of that Scott had taken already, and Jake, you were one of the first ones to pop up in that one. Um,
yeah.
and let me switch over here and show this other photo of you guys really quick. So here's one of Scott here in the background. I think
when they go educate, part of it is education, not just
sure.
showing off. Um, in fact, at this powwow, they actually had a booth this year that had a petition, I believe, where you could sign it to get Native American mascots banned in sports and things of that sort. So there's an educational purpose to it as well. It's not just a
Okay.
spectacle, but the bright colors and stuff, basically, it's what each dancer represents. So each piece of regalia tells a story,
Right.
basically, of rather that person's trauma they've been through or that person's tribe or family story. A lot of it is passed down in generations. So, like,
Exist any of their clothing, yet they can use those in a
Yes.
way that really bring out some of those colors in a different way, different fabrics, different um, styles of knitting, sewing,
Right.
creation. It it's adapting with the times, yet still staying
photos. Want to see more of these photos, we'll share all the links in the description below. I know there's nothing posted down there at the moment, but I will change all that after the video, trust me. So if you guys do want to check out their Facebook links and all those awesome photos. Most of these photos I've been shown are from Scott as well, which is doing his own business and whatnot. So that's been fantastic. I know you've been very busy with all the weddings and stuff this summer.
I've had a few. Busy with that.
Yeah.
You know, you shoot a wedding for one, or even event like this for one day, and you've got several weeks of when you're not, you know, in the kitchen working.
Right.
Working on the photos, it takes a while. No, it was.
I'm sure this event though was probably a record setter for you, just because it was so different than what you've been to in the past. Because this was your first powwow or second, I think.
I've never been to one before. It was a new experience. I did not know what to expect walking into it. But it was wonderful, very welcome. Everybody was very, very nice.
That's the whole idea, right?
You know, that's the whole thing about Native American culture.
Yeah,
that I find beautiful.
Was it Travis? One of the him in 10 minutes talked about what's allowed. I don't know what I'm doing. Can I take photos here? That he goes, just mention to the DJ. He'll let you know.
Right.
More and I get to come back and do some photos for them next year.
Okay.
Hopefully in a more official standpoint.
Right.
Same with Jake. He's coming back next year for the medical tent.
Right. Congratulations to both of you. Congrats.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Story. I think we should transition to what happened there in a moment. Do we want to split it up quick? Do the memes quickly?
Yeah, let's do something different. Let's jump into the memes here real quick. Let me do my transition here. Just briefly click real quick here, and we'll jump right in. I didn't get a chance to do any like fun meme words or anything cool.
Known as that. Andrew is my first name. My middle name has always been Scott. Trying to go by that for like new people. When I'm working as a server, I'll introduce myself as that. Just a little bit of an identity change in a way.
Right.
I joke that it was like a midlife crisis, and that's a lot cheaper than buying a Corvette.
It is cheaper than buying a Corvette. That is true. Yeah.
Scott when my parents adopted me, but I already responded to Andrew.
Right. Right.
So I made it my middle, but I'm just going by that. So if anybody
You,
wasn't
yeah.
sure, that's
Uh,
all it is. Not a big deal. We've been going through a lot. This summer was an absolute mess for all of us. It was so tough. So it's
yeah.
more of like a reset for
Okay.
us.
Okay. That's good.
Just getting back grounded, letting go of all of the stress from the
Right.
summer, making some lifestyle changes, being healthier
There you go. There you go.
best and I'm almost 40. It's time to take care of
Right.
myself, and that's one ways physically and mentally that we're working on.
Right.
Which,
Right.
so, yeah, that's the only
Yeah,
reason.
I got you. You are good.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I did change the little logo, so yeah, in case anybody was wondering, like, wait a minute, he looks familiar, but that's not his name. Yeah, don't panic. That's yeah, it's good. I did that on purpose. Not a typo. It's not a typo. Okay, next one here. For the memes. This
It's one of him basically sucker punching
Oh yes,
Pikachu.
yep.
yes, I have seen that one. I
Yeah,
have seen that one. It's really funny. I do
yeah.
like that. I like that one a lot. I don't know why. I think it reminds me of there was a film that came out a couple years ago, and if you were paying attention to the background, they were like walking through somebody's house, and I don't. It was a comedy, obviously, and in the background, I want to say it was like The Heat or something. But they had like all these different pictures of like Jesus, like that somebody had painted or whatever, and he was just doing weird stuff, like he's singing like as he's Elvis on stage, and like hitting baseballs out of the park or whatever, like he's a baseball player or something. It was so that just reminded me of that because it was they just played on the just
Hmm.
the standard pictures that you see literally everywhere. So anyway, thank you for those awesome internet memes, everybody. We'll breaking up our internet feed. Now, as Scott pointed out, we did have or Jake was there at our this event and was doing medical things, and I know something happened. I don't know how much you can actually talk about it, if at all. Probably not.
Yeah, I can't really talk. Yeah, I can't really talk that
But I guess
much about
what
it.
really what was your biggest concern? Because I know it was a hot day for that time of year. It was a lot hotter than normal.
Um, the only thing I'm allowed to say is it was a female who was having what appeared to be heart attack
Okay.
symptoms. Um, I don't know what the final diagnosis was, and it's none of my business. But
Tis life, you did your job, I'm sure.
from yeah, yeah. So I was there. I had to do what I had to do. Um, it got scary during certain points.
As all competitions do.
But, that that's part of the reason why I was there, and me being there definitely helped my self confidence a lot to know what that I can do what needs to be done, and I actually have to recertify this weekend.
Okay.
Restaurant we call quiet the Q word.
Oh yeah.
When you say that, that's when it hits the fan.
Yeah.
Not 3 minutes after she said it's been really quiet.
Oh, no.
So I'm blaming her for that. But
I kind of do too. It's the same thing for kitchens. You never say we're slow or it's quiet or still or any of those words.
Yeah.
But it was earlier this year that Jake had messaged me saying, because he had gotten his certifications for first aid, that he wanted to run the medical tent as a first aid responder.
Okay.
And that was a great idea. They had never had it before.
Which is it was blows my mind. For what, 19 years they had this? They didn't have a medical tent that whole time? Wow.
Well, you got to remember
from
last year. Yeah.
They need it.
Last year, actually, because how this started was last year I was at the powwow, and I had to put my certification to use that year too.
Huh.
And someone had asked, have you considered doing such a thing?
Right.
And I never really considered it. I mean, I did consider it, but I never thought it was a possibility to do. Because like my brother said, usually fire department's the one in charge.
Right, that would make sense.
But it was different this year because they had an ambulance stage for a little while. They had to go to a call. And as soon as they had left, about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes later is when I got flagged.
Right.
So, but again, that's why I was there, in cases
the
like
whole point.
If they were, and next year, I don't know if they're going to have one stage there or not.
We'll see how that changes. Right.
I probably, but if they decide to do, then that's what they decide to do. But I'm just happy I was there, and I got to put my skills to use, and my brother got to see me in action.
Well, you proved that it's something that is necessary for this sort of event. You never know. In the best case scenario, nothing happens.
Right.
But worst case, if someone is having a severe medical issue, even those 2 or 3 minutes until the ambulance arrives can
were not gonna
Things wouldn't pan out
maybe
right.
necessarily work out the way that we wanted.
Right.
So, you know, it's a big. It takes a
Right.
toll out of you at the end. You know, because you don't know how to process it, or you know, all those scenarios go through your mind of, oh crap, I could only imagine,
Right. Right.
you know, that's what took place. You know, if that makes sense. So, um, and they also don't teach you how to handle relatives.
Mm.
You
Mm.
know, um, this this lady happened to be with her daughter, and her daughter was emotional, rightfully so. And you know, I got the medical part of it down, but it was hard for me to kind of keep her
Right.
calm as well. And
Sure.
you know, I don't feel any anger or any sort of you know frustration towards her because I have to put myself in that scenario of
Right.
you know if my brother had a medical problem that day or I have to have that
Right.
day, you know how each one of us would react differently. I
Hmm.
think because worry and stress and anxiety can you know make you an emotional person,
Right.
which can make the situation a little bit more stressful than it
Again,
probably
from
would have
an
been.
outsider's standpoint, I'm I'm extremely I'm extremely proud of Jake and how he handled it. Very professional,
Great.
did exactly what he was trained to do,
Right.
reacted exactly how he was supposed to, made the right call, said, yes, we have to call 911 because of uh, these symptoms. This is standard.
Right.
I'm
Right.
going to do everything I can. Did not freak out.
Everything by the
Very,
book, pretty much.
very calm, calculated,
So
professional.
I
It
will tell you though,
as a
inside I was freaking
was
out.
fun
Well,
him
I
in
feel like
just even the photos you posted, seeing him in the
the
shirt,
blue. Yeah. Yeah.
uh, medic shirt, all of the equipment he was able to even get for this. We'll definitely put a link down below. There's
Yeah.
an organization out of Ann Arbor that helps provide AED devices, which he has right there. Um, Two individuals or organizations will definitely give more
So
information.
for the
He,
purpose of this video, I'll show you what this is.
yeah, it
So,
Yeah. Go right ahead.
yeah.
I think they
came
should be.
prepared.
They should be able to see it.
Luckily didn't have
I
to use
already
anything
think I
or
showed.
gloves,
Right.
Yeah.
and
No,
I was proud. It was afterward. It solidified why they needed that person on site during an event like this,
Right.
and it's why it's going to happen in the future. It's a good thing. It's
and I think they've seen that. And you know, another thing I like about it is some of the representatives, or the people that worked for Wayne County Parks, were also there and witnessed what I was doing because they had to do their incident reports and everything else. So, you know, I think it's because of last year when I did this, I wasn't met with as much respect from the first responders that responded
Right.
because at that point I didn't have the shirt and the gear to make me look professional,
Right.
you know. Um,
Grey's
I
Anatomy.
got to watch open heart surgery. I'm going to try open heart surgery on you because I watched it on film.
God, I
There
hope
are
not.
people who,
Uh.
there are people who are unfortunately like
Mm-hmm.
that who would do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I understood the resistance last time.
Right.
This time I was expecting the same thing,
Right.
but they didn't you know kick me out of the area. They let me stay around where
Sure.
they were. I walked up to the ambulance. I could not see what was happening because they had all the doors
Right.
shut. They came out of the ambulance and actually gave me a report. And normally they don't give citizens the
Right.
report,
'Cause
you know.
you just. Yeah.
But they allowed me to because I actually had to relay that information on to the
Right.
people from Wayne County Parks that were doing their incident
Right.
report.
Okay.
So I was treated like one of them. I gained the respect from Wayne County Parks.
Right.
Every and build their character and stuff. So this whole thing did that for me.
It sounds like it. It
And
sounds like it did that for almost everybody. I mean, both of you, I
so,
think.
Well, that was,
knowing that my brother is now a part of it makes me even more happier.
it's all about inclusivity,
Hmm.
where
Yeah.
Jake and I both have a small portion of native genetics
Right.
within us.
Right.
Maybe from maybe 2 or 3 from more of a Central American tribe, not
Sure.
so much.
Still counts.
You're-
It still counts.
But but compared to I think a lot of other groups that you might find out there in the world, this was very inclusive. It was very respectful, understanding you're here,
Yeah.
you're trying to share in our culture and learn and understand, and
Right.
we're going to
Yeah.
we're going to let you let's
Right.
it,
Why stop you? I mean, what's? Yeah, I mean, who's it gonna hurt? I mean, at that point, right? I mean, it's not hurting you. It's not hurting them. It's,
it was a
it's
very
hurting no one.
that very welcoming, very kind,
Hmm.
just and just fun, just plain fun.
Awesome.
If you
Well, the fun,
anybody
I think
and
it's
go to
it takes it to a whole new level when you know um, they see the potential in you.
Okay.
They see past the label or they see past whatever, and they see, oh wow, you want to do photography? That's awesome.
Right.
They were very happy when I volunteered to do this first aid station because a lot of places, a lot of people want to get paid for it.
Right.
You
Right.
know, there's not a lot of people out there that want to volunteer their time, and not to say at one point this might become that,
Right.
but for now, it's a volunteer thing. I'm
Sure.
not getting any sort of, check in the mail or anything for
Right.
this.
Right.
It's something I've always wanted to do, and the fact that they let me kind of, because you have to understand, this was kind of like a childhood dream for me.
Sure.
Like some people dream about becoming rock stars. My dream job was a paramedic, firefighter. What I've always wanted to do.
Right.
But I haven't been able to kind of get to that level. That makes sense.
Absolutely. No, it makes total sense, and I agree completely. I really think that. I mean, it really sounds like something. This is like what Scott was saying. Everybody should have to try or should go to a powwow at some point in their life. Like I said, I went when I was a kid, so I barely remember it, and I'm pretty sure it was like in New Mexico or Arizona, somewhere way out there. So it was very different, but again, they were celebrating. It was that time of year. I remember it being really hot, and it was definitely in the fall, so it was probably some kind of fall celestial. I know they do what is it, the end of the year kind of thing. I can't remember what that's called.
Yeah, there's powwows throughout the year.
So
Most of them happen in the spring and summertime when the weather's warmer.
Okay.
But there's powwows that happen in the fall.
it was really cool. I mean, there was
Lots that
tons of
happen in
people there.
November's American Heritage Month,
Okay.
so there's a lot that happen in November
Okay.
as well.
Huh.
There is a website called powwows.com that you can look at.
Hmm.
that has a calendar of all the powwows in the area. And then obviously social media.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Native American Association of Detroit usually posts if there's powwows coming up and stuff of that sort. So they happen throughout the state because Michigan is a really big Native American,
Right.
got a really big Native American influence. So powwow, it's in this big,
Wow.
huge concert sports arena, kind of like Little Caesars
Okay.
Arena, but the center of the floor is where all the dancers go
Right.
out to. Usually about 1,000 to 2,000 dancers at one time
Jeez.
on the same
Oh,
floor
man.
during.
Oh.
I've had, I have pictures on my
Oh, yeah.
Facebook that
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't.
Definitely.
So yeah, it's in the United States and in
Mhm.
Canada,
Canada,
too.
yeah.
Canada's got a lot of powwows. Yeah, it's not that hard, you know. So
Well, I want to say thank you to Jake and Scott for our awesome video today. I think that kind of wraps up our day today. And I think this is a huge stepping stone for not only the channel, but for everybody here. I mean, we've all had some pretty big breakthroughs. I can't wait to see how this turns out next year as well. And I know we're going to get more pictures and more videos and more stories. So I'm really excited. When does this normally happen? Is it always the same time of year? Like, should we expect like August again next year, or no? Or September? Sorry.
yeah, every September it happens
Okay.
every year,
Cool.
same place. Dates are different.
Right. I
So-
imagine that'll change. So yeah, we'll just shoot for September. I'll make sure that we have that marked on our calendar, so we're making sure that we're watching that and keeping track. Now, we always stay in touch, so it's not going to be much of an issue for us on the back side of things here of Cookies Enabled. But I do
Hey,
want to
maybe
appreciate...
We can get down there next year, Will.
Well, oh yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say I'm definitely gonna have to. Hopefully, I have a better car by next year. I will be like, yeah, here I come, guys, woo! Because yes,
You do that down.
it's
That would
it would be so much fun, and I'd probably even be able to live stream right from the show, which would be even cooler. I mean, I'd have to get permissions from tons of people, but it is definitely an option. So, but yes, I just want to say thank you again for everybody for tuning in. I don't know who. I know we had a couple people on the clicker. I think I had at least 2 or 3 people tuning in at one point. So thank you for stopping by, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out our videos. I'm going to be posting new stuff about every other week if I can get around to it or so, and hopefully live streams every other week as well. So keep us around, and I want to say thank you again for Scott and Jake for tuning in and coming along for the show and sharing their experiences with us. Thank you guys all, and we will see you all next time, everybody. Take it easy, guys.
Bye, everybody.